Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast, the podcast for late diagnosed autistic adults who want real relationships without fake masks. Let's talk connection, clarity, and showing up as your authentic self. Now, if you're always second guessing yourself and replaying conversations at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're just like, oh man, that thing that I said, did I say it right? Or were they really upset with me? Did I do it wrong? Are you just trying to figure out if you're too sensitive? Then you're in the right place. Because today we're going to talk about self-gaslighting. It's a lie. It's a lie that we tell ourselves. And we struggle with conversation. We struggle with connection because we just don't have our grounded sense of reality. And when I say grounded sense of reality, I really mean your sense of self and knowing that your feelings are real and they're valid. And how they show up are real to you, and trusting them. And if you don't trust them yourself, you are self-gaslighting. You're talking yourself out of it. So today we're going to talk about how that shows up in your relationships, and I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do to help you stop self-gaslighting so you can be grounded and really make authentic connections. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, everything I talk about here is based on my life experiences, so I'm not coming at you sideways with this one by calling you a liar. But, I mean, we tend to lie to ourselves and we don't even know that we're doing it. And I've done it many, many, many times. And I think it's because I've been conditioned to not listen to myself, but trust what other people say. And it showed up in all areas of my life. I would doubt myself so much. It started, of course, when I was a kid. So, pointing out. So I think this is really unique to those who are late diagnosed autistic, and this self-gaslighting, sure, it can show up with other people, but this specific thing, it would show up in us a lot because we are out there at 4 or 5, 6 years old, pointing out reality just like kids do, but maybe more often because we're noticing a lot more things. And we have these questions and we have these observations that we just want to say them. And they say, no, that's not what you imagined. Or that's what you imagined. It's not real. And we continue pointing out reality, what looks real to us, our real feelings. And we get in trouble for it. And we learn not to talk about it. And we also learn that we need to trust other people's version of reality because ours gets us in trouble. And we also look around and we see, oh, hey, everybody else agrees with your reality or their reality. Everybody else is on the same page, and you have an observation and they just don't agree. And they don't want you to talk about it. And so enough of these experiences and these people in the world come by and they say, hey, you're wrong. And you might try and you go talk to somebody else and you say, hey, am I wrong? And they're like, I don't get it. I don't get what you're talking about. You are wrong. Ouch. And so you just learn to internalize that experience. You learn to internalize it. It'll show up as, maybe I misread that. You caught your superior pattern recognition abilities, caught something. It caught a joke that didn't feel so great. It caught a slight insult that kind of gave you a tinge. And you're like, nah, maybe I misread that. Because it sounds possible. I mean, other people have told you many, many times that you've been wrong. And you try to be fair about it. You want to be honest and fair and give people the benefit of the doubt. So you want to double check your interpretation. You want to think, it could have been something I don't understand that other people do. And so how I feel about it isn't right. It's wrong. I need to drop it. This is terrible. It's terrible. Especially because you read something right. You picked up on something. Somebody was cold. Somebody was dismissive. Somebody was unclear. You picked up on something and you've been convinced by your previous experiences and that voice that now lives in your head to shut up. Shh, sit down. It's nothing. It's nothing. Ooh. So maybe you misread that. Sound familiar? Another one that pops up when we do the self-gaslighting is they didn't mean it like that. They didn't mean it like that. I know them and they didn't mean it like that. They didn't mean to say anything that was hurtful to me. They're really trying to help me. So sometimes they pick on me. Sometimes they, razz me a little bit. Sometimes they make fun of me. Sometimes they just want to encourage me to do better. They tell me that I'm spending too much or that I'm eating too much or I'm doing too much because they want to help me. They want to help me. They're my friends. But here's the thing. Maybe they did mean it like that. You don't know. All you're doing is listening to that voice that says you are wrong. Your version of reality cannot be. And it's the worst thing because your version of reality is your version of reality. Your experiences, your feelings are yours and no one else can tell you because no one else is having that experience. They can give you their best guess based on their behavior, based on your behavior, based on your feelings, based on how you express yourself. They can get their best guess, but it's all based in their reality. It's all based in what they observe, what anger looks like, what sadness looks like. They can't come and say you're sad. You have to know that for yourself. Like, you really have to experience it. So you can't really know if they mean it like that. You can really know how you felt about the experience. The impact hits you. You feel something. And all the gaslighting is doing is saying, don't listen. It's nothing. They didn't mean it like that. But you don't really know that. This gaslighting is devastating. I used to do it to myself all the time. And if you feel this way too, I'm with you. How can I feel better? I got you. Stay tuned. I got you. We'll talk about some ways you can feel better and stop gaslighting yourself so much. Don't lie to yourself. You're beautiful. Another thing that shows up, another way the self-gaslighting shows up, third way, is that you might say something like, I'm probably being too much. It's classic. It is, I'm just doing the most. You've probably been told this many, many times. You're talking too much. You're giving too much detail. You're asking too many questions. You're being extra. Wow. Your reactions are just too intense, too fast, too detailed. So now you start shrinking yourself. You say, I am too much. Probably. I deserved that reaction from them. I caused it. It's me. I did too much. Yikes. That's another way it shows up. It's really damaging, right? Another way, and it's very similar to the third one, is that I should have known better. Say something, I should have known better because that's how they behave. Or I'm always doing things that get these kinds of reactions from other people. So they do something that's insulting or hurtful to you, and you say, I deserve it. I should have known better. Essentially, I always do these kinds of things. You hold yourself to standards that no one else is meeting, and then you punish yourself for missing signs that you were never, ever, ever taught to read. You hold yourself to these standards. No one else is doing that. No one else is thinking that way. And you punish yourself because you should have known better. You should have known not to upset them. You should have known to read the room better. There was something that you could have done to change the situation, and in truth, there wasn't. There wasn't. It's just internalized blame. So what happens after we have all of these experiences and we are constantly feeling like you misread that, feeling like you misread that, they didn't mean it like that, trying to make up their intentions. I'm probably just being too much, taking blame for it, or I should have known better, taking more blame for it. But what happens is that you get to a point where you don't even know what's real anymore. You completely become misaligned from yourself. You stop believing in your own thoughts, your feelings, and your actions and behaviors. You get overwhelmed and you just don't know what's real anymore, and you want to stay as far away from people as possible because you just constantly are triggered by them. Get away from me. I'm better off without people because people don't say what they mean and they don't mean what they say. And there's all these rules that I don't understand and no one's going to explain it to me. And then when I think I caught the rule, when I think I understand it and I fall in line and I do as I see them do, I still do it wrong. I still get myself in trouble. I just don't understand people and humans. Just get away from me. And so you start hibernating, start isolating. Self-gaslighting really happens when you've been conditioned to distrust your own truth in order to stay connected. In order to be in groups of people, you have to lie to yourself and say that things are okay to go along to get along. Because if you don't lie to yourself, you face some conflict and consequences. The relationship cannot stand if you say, hey, you hurt me. And they say, no, I didn't. But then you stand in your truth and you know that you've been hurt. How are you going to get through that? You won't if they're not willing to notice. You won't if you're not willing to shrink yourself and adjust your truth. Like, that's how that relationship stands. But if you want to stand in your truth and know that your feelings are real and they're valid, you can't have that kind of relationship with them. You won't tolerate anybody treating you less than because you know that, look, they meant it like that. I don't even care if they meant it like that. Actually, I was hurt by it. I didn't misread anything. I was hurt by it. I'm not being too much. I was hurt by it. I shouldn't have known better. We need to talk about this. You hold them accountable and your whole relationship changes. This is what happens when you stop self-gaslighting and you're open and you're honest and you trust your feelings. It's scary. It gets you into trouble if you don't have the skills to handle it. So here's what I want to do. I want to help you start releasing yourself from the self-gaslighting. I want to help you really start feeling like your feelings are real and they're valid. So here's what we're going to do. There's 3 things that you can do. The first thing is to practice emotional anchoring. So this is writing things down so that you're clear and you're grounded about what is going on and what's real to you. It's like journaling. People say, journal, write it down. I'm a fan of processing my feelings in some way. I like to talk my feelings out, actually. I like to talk them out, and I like to say what I'm really feeling, how I'm feeling, and what happened in the situation. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to write what happened in the situation, how you're really feeling, and why you feel that way. This is emotional anchoring. You're actually really having a conversation with yourself. As you write something down and you read it back to yourself, it's a conversation. It's a reflection. It's a validation of, hey, this really happened. Because nobody else in your world is telling you that. You got to tell yourself. Okay? So do the emotional anchoring. The next thing you want to do is talk to people who don't minimize your experience. Get away from those people who are constantly telling you that you're wrong, you're bad, you're confused, you don't know what's going on. Don't be around those people. Don't be around those people. And I know you might have family members who do that too. You might have people that you work with that do that too. Create space in between those people because you're not going to be able to hear your voice if it's drowned out by other people. It's like you're out there in a football stadium and, I don't know, pick one of those big stadiums where there are lots of people and it's packed, just surrounded by people, and you're trying to think. People are screaming that you're bad, you're wrong, you got it mixed up. You can't even think, really. You need to create some space in between you in those people. Don't answer these text messages. Don't go out to places with them. And if you're worried about them losing, if you're worried about losing them as your friends, they're not really your friends. They don't know you. They don't know how you really feel about things. And the third thing I want you to do is to remind yourself daily, every day, that I trust myself. Say, I trust myself. I know how I feel. My feelings are valid. I trust myself. I know my feelings are real. My feelings are valid. You have to talk to yourself. You really have to do, because no one else in the world is going to do it for you. No one else in the world is going to do it for you. So these are some steps to get you to stop listening to that voice. Stop listening to yourself who gaslights, that self-gaslighting creature that is inside of your head. You want to get rid of them by reprogramming yourself. So practice emotional anchoring. Talk to people who don't minimize your experience, and remind yourself daily of who you are. You're a baddie. All right. Hey, real quick, I've got a special gift for you. If something in this episode resonated with you and you want to talk through it with someone who gets it, I'm opening up 5 free 1-hour consultations this month. And they're usually 30 minutes, so you're getting twice as much. And this is only for podcast listeners, so you won't find this booking on my website. Once these 5 spots are gone, they are gone. So book yours using the link in the description. Now let's do the listener letters. If you have a question about your family, friends, business, coworkers, anything that goes on with your relationships, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. How do people not exhaust themselves socializing? Here's what my next month looks like, and I'm trying not to lose it at the idea of it. Next weekend, I have dinner with the in-laws on the 4th of July weekend, celebrations with my family the weekend after the 4th, and then dinner with my dad's aunt's weekend after this, and the weekend after that. So 3 weekends full of stuff. My cousin's birthday parties on Saturday, and my dad's half-sibling's mother's anniversary on Sunday. I have to go to all of that. I work full-time, and I have to spend the next month using my only 2 days off to socialize with people. I want to cry. Somebody out there feels that. I can't say no to any of these events either, because my family will attack me for it. I'm so exhausted. I don't know how I'll get through this next month. If I had it my way, I would go to my cousin's birthday and dinner with the in-laws, but I have to power through all of it to make myself miserable. I empathize with you here, with feeling like you are obligated and you have to do something. I get it. You know, family is important and they're special, and when they say, you know, we love you, we tend to believe and trust and reciprocate that love right back to them. We do that, and it's something that we learn. Blood is thicker than water. Our family will always be there for us. So, you know, you want your family to show up for you at some times when it's inconvenient for them. So you've got to also show up at this event, these events, many events, at times where it feels inconvenient for you. Just suck it up. That's what the general consensus is. Just come on. I mean, come on. The worst thing you want to do, it's not like they're asking you to move or asking you for money. They're asking you to come over and have fun. Like, what's your problem? You know, that's usually what people would say, but that thought process. And what I see here, you know, the question is, how do people not exhaust themselves socializing? I think you're asking a different question. I think you don't want to go. I think you want to figure out how to get out of it, so that you don't go. But, you know, how do people exhaust themselves? Not exhaust themselves with socializing? I would definitely handle that one first. And so how do you not exhaust yourself? Well, when I talk about things that are fun and interesting and exciting to me, I light up. I'm like all in. And so do many of my autistic brethren out there, my info dumpers who love things, and they have a special interest, and they just want to tell you about it. Don't get me started about XYZ, because I would talk your ear off. It energizes me to know somebody wants to listen to me and hear about me. I've had conversations with one of my friends, Whitney, who was just a really cool person, and we scheduled our time to talk, because that's one of the ways you don't exhaust yourself when socializing. You schedule time in to socialize. So anyway, we scheduled time to talk, and it was just for an hour, and then we ended up continuing to talk for like 2 hours, and we were in a video call together. And as I found that every time she said something, I wanted to say more. And then I also wanted to follow up with questions, and I got excited about the questions, and I had to find myself to stop. Like, hey, don't ask anymore. Don't say anything else. And our conversation literally ended like, all right, I've got to stop talking to you now, because I'll continue to talk to you for more hours. And then we just hung up. And we just hung up because we both understood that we were really connected and having a really good time, and it's hard to pull away from that. I left the conversation feeling like, on cloud 9. It's really happy. And so that's one way you don't exhaust yourselves in conversation. You talk about things that are fun, interesting, exciting to you, and you talk, and you're enjoying it. You feel refreshed, even after work, even after like working out, or after an activity that you would feel exhausted. That's how you do it. And it might be that these people here don't have the interests that you want to talk about. They just don't care about what you care about. They're not curious about that. And likewise, you're not curious about it either. You have to make really small talk that's boring and uninteresting, and it's draining, because now you are trying to figure out what to say, how to say it, and now you're masking too. You're trying to show up in a way that is appealing and pleasing to them, and watching for cues so that you don't get yourself in trouble, right? So it's exhausting. So go where people want you to be. I mean, go where people want you there. That's what I mean. Like, find that place. So that's how you not exhaust yourself. Set those time limits. If you're in a place like with your family right here, if you're in a place where you just don't know what to do, set that time limit and say, look, I'm just be here for 2 hours. I showed up because it's obligation, and there's a benefit to you fulfilling this obligation. You probably wouldn't say it to them, but you know it for yourself. There's a benefit to filling this obligation, so that you will gain favor with them, and they will continue to love and support you. Right. But it sounds like there's a problem with being able to do that, because they're going to attack you. And I found that pretty alarming that you use the word attack, because I'd love to believe that families don't attack each other. They encourage and support each other, especially for things that are supposed to be fun. Like, you don't have to fight me to go play Dance Dance Revolution. Well, maybe now because I'm 40 something, but when I was in my 20s, you didn't have to fight me to do that. I really enjoyed it. I run over there and play all the time. I spent 8 hours over there at a machine, and I play and play and play. You don't have to fight me to get me to do something that's fun. You see what I'm saying with that? It's a dread for you to go to the event, so then I gotta force you to be there. Ew. Yuck. That didn't feel good. It sounds like a better boundary needs to be formed. And so I don't know what the dynamics are, the situation, and everything. I know that we just want to gain, from what I understand, from what I'm looking at as an outsider looking in, we just want to gain favor and show up and be supportive, even though it makes you miserable. And I'd like to say that there's another way to look at this, to kind of help you feel like this is something that you desire to do, so that you don't feel like you're doing something against your will, and that you're frustrated with it. It'll take the frustration out of it if you just look at it a different way, since it's hard for you to set a boundary and say, look, I'm only going to come over for an hour. I'm going to grab some hot dogs, some chips, and then I'm gone. Or if you insist for me to be there all day, guess what? I'm going to take a nap in the back room. I'm going to be sleeping for 3 or 4 hours, and nobody's going to come bother me. Okay? I know those are strong boundaries to set, but you're miserable. You're miserable. So what we want to do is kind of flip this. We want to try to flip it as best we can and change our mindset about the misery that you're going to experience. This is an investment instead. Just say this is an investment to my future health and well-being with my family. And I do this because I want to. At the end of the day, they love me, and it's going to gain favor with them. It's going to gain favor with them. I'll be miserable for a few hours. I'll be miserable for the rest of this month. But at the end of the day, what I really want, more than being miserable in this moment, because I have the resilience to be okay. I have the resilience to eat a couple hot dogs and some chips and, maybe have some of Aunt Patty's potato salad, even though it's terrible. I have the ability to do that. I have the ability to be exhausted for this little bit of time because I know that at the end of the day, it's going to gain me some favor. At the end of the day, I know it's going to, as people are going to support me. My family is going to support me because I did this thing. And this is an important piece here, I want their support more than I want to be comfortable for these next few weeks. It's a stretch. But it's the kind of mindset that you have to have if you are going to enjoy yourself at that. If you're not going to be drained. You have to make it so that you really clearly know the benefit of you being in that space and you agree with the benefit so that it doesn't feel like you have to be there against your will. That's the key. So, I know I said some stuff here, some deep stuff. It's all about your mindset. It's all about understanding how you show up, what you want in these situations, always looking for the benefit of you being in a space. And that's how you not exhaust yourself when you're socializing, because you know you're going to get rewarded in some way, shape, or form when you're in the space. And when we get rewarded, we feel that joy and excitement. It lights us up and it gives us energy. That's how you do it. Hey, if this helped you, let me know. If it was awful and you hated it and you never want to try, you never think you can do this, or it's a dumb idea, tell me anyway. I'd love to hear from you. You can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. Looking forward to reading your letters. Hey, thanks for listening to the Patterns of Possibility. If you're ready to build relationships without the mask, visit patternsofpossibility.com. You don't have to do the connection the hard way. You just have to do it your way. Thanks for listening. And if you've got something of value from this podcast, you can really help us out by adding a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to, because it really helps other people find the podcast and it'll help other people understand how to build these meaningful relationships. Share with a friend. Thank you so much. Take care.